Hi again. In this video we're going to look at the quadratic formula. All right, this is a way to solve any quadratic equation of a single variable with this handy formula. This will always work given a quadratic equation of a single variable. Why would we not want to use this? Well, it might be easier, as we saw in the previous videos, to maybe factor or use the square root property. But otherwise, we can use this. All right, so let's go through it. So if you have a quadratic equation given in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, it's very important that it is in this formula, this form. Everything is on one side equal to 0, and we can identify the a, the b, and the c. Then the solutions to this are given by this. So that's x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Right. Okay, now this is something you should write down, and this is also going to be on your formula sheet, but it's good to practice this. Now, there's a part under the square root, the b squared minus 4ac. We call that the discriminant. And it's handy to calculate that ahead of time because that will tell you what type of solutions you're going to get from that quadratic equation. For example, if the discriminant, the b squared minus 4ac, is positive, so greater than 0, you're going to have two real number solutions. If the b squared minus 4ac equals 0, you'll have one real solution. That will be a root of multiplicity 2. Talk about that later. B squared minus 4ac being less than 0, being negative, you'll have two complex solutions. And if the a, b, and c are real numbers, they'll be conjugates. All right. So let's go ahead and try this out. So we've got the formula here. We're going to go ahead and find the discriminant first. It's always a good idea to do that because first off, you want to know what the solutions are going to be, and also it also gives you the number that's going to be under the square root. So you're not dealing with a huge expression. You just got negative b plus or minus the square root of the discriminant. So let's find that first. So here we have negative 3x squared plus 4x equals negative 2. And if we want to apply this, we need to first put it in this form. And notice it is not in this form. It's not equal to 0. So we need to add the 2 first. Negative 3x squared plus 4x plus 2 equals 0. Okay, now it qualifies for the quadratic formula. We can read off the a, negative 3, the b is 4, and the c is 2. Okay, let's find the discriminant first. So b squared minus 4ac, we've got 4 squared minus 4 times negative 3 times 2. All right, let's see what we get here. So 16, we have minus 3, minus is plus, so 4 times 3 is 12, times 2 is 24. That is 40. All right. So 40 is a positive number. That means we're going to have two real solutions to this. All right. So we have x equals negative b, so negative 4, plus or minus the square root of the discriminant, which we've already calculated, is 40, all over 2 times a, so 2 times negative 3. It's going to be negative 6. Okay. All right. Actually, let's go ahead and simplify this a little bit. So if x equals negative 4 plus or minus, and then we have the square root of 40. 40 is 4 times 10. Right? So we could write this as the square root of 4 times the square root of 10. That's going to be 2. So 2 square root of 10 divided by negative 6. All right, now we can also, looks like we can divide out by a 2. So we'll have negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 10 over negative 3. All right, now this of course means negative 2 plus square root of 10 over negative 3 and negative 2 minus the square root of 10 over negative 3. All right. Okay, let's do the next one. X squared plus 6x plus 13 equals 0. This is already set up in this form, so if you'd like to, go ahead and pause the video and apply this. Go ahead and find the discriminant first, right, and see what type of solutions you get, and go ahead and apply the quadratic formula. All right, so how'd you do? For the discriminant, we've got, first off, b squared, so 6 squared, minus 4ac. So 36 minus whatever 4 times 13 is, which is going to be 52. 36 minus 52 is going to be, let's see, negative 16. Because 16 plus 32 is 52. All right. So it's a negative number. That means we're going to have two complex solutions. All right. So we have x equals negative b, so negative 6, plus or minus the square root of negative 16. It's going to give us our complex roots divided by 2a. So 2 times 1, just divided by 2. All right. We know that the square root of 16, square root of negative 16, is going to be the square root of 16 times I, and the square root of 16 is 4. So we have negative 6 plus or minus 4i over 2, and we can just divide by 2 to get our answers. So negative 3 plus or minus 2i. Very good. All right, from here we're going to look at an application of quadratics related to falling objects. Fits this form exactly, so stay tuned for that.